Good evening, everybody, and welcome in as we present this week's edition of the Milford Informer. I am your host, Tim Coette. We have a bit of an abbreviated version of the Informer this week, as our entire staff has been hard at work preparing for this weekend's exciting Studio B grand opening and open house party here at our Milford TV studios. We will share all of the details on this weekend's festivities one last time a little bit later on in the show. In the meantime, let's show you everything we have coming up in tonight's Top Stories Rundown.
Tonight, Milford TV members Jake Ruwe and Malcolm Zale will present a recap of last week's All-Star Night of Comedy fundraiser held by the Milford Police Association. Also tonight, we'll give you a sneak peek at our top 10 Milford TV sports moments from the last 5 years that will officially premiere at this weekend's grand opening. And later in sports, we have a pair of boys basketball highlight reels to show you, including division matchups with Foxborough and North Attleboro.
Last week, the Milford Police Department hosted a fun-filled evening over at the Doubletree Hotel. The event was titled an All-Star Night of Comedy and featured 4 of the best comedians from the Boston area. The event was held to raise money for the Milford Police Association. To learn more about the event, we turn to our dynamic duo of Malcolm Zale and Jake Ruwe.
Hello again, Milford. I'm Malcolm Zale, and we are here tonight at the Milford Police Comedy Night. I hope everyone's having a good night. We got a lot of great comedians lined up for you, but we can't show them to you. It's their intellectual property. We won't mind too much. We'll be talking to a lot of important people. We got Sergeant Sousa lined up, and all the important people at this event. See you later, Milford.
I'm basically working for All Pro Productions, and it's an entertainment company that hires comedians, actually for like the last 15 years, to do fundraisers for local firemen and the police. I love the firemen. My uncle was an arsonist. So anyways, so we do comedy. We travel around New England. I've actually been all around the world. Yeah. Well,
What's the coolest place you've
Well, I've been to Epcot Center. I've been to Epcot Center. I'm just trying to sneak in a joke there. I've been all around the world. Well, you've never been to Epcot Center?
No, never.
Okay, let me explain that joke to you people. This is going to be Comedy 101. See, if you go to Disney World / Epcot Center, there's like a little area where you can drink and eat, and it's all different countries, Germany, Italy. So when I say I've been all around the world, well, I've been to Epcot Center. I only had to buy one ticket. Especially, that's how comedy works. Clean
best
TV
airfare.
Comedy. See, now Malcolm asked me where I got my clothing from.
I did.
I don't even know if you have that store in this area. Build-A-Bear? Do you have that? Okay, there you go.
Is that why it's so full of love?
It's full of love. Yeah. I'm doing all PG-13 jokes for the Milton because I look taller on cable. I like cable.
You look taller on cable. I do too. I'm like 5'7".
I'm actually 5'6" in heels, which gets me a little nervous because I'm single, and I figure if I marry a woman under 5 feet tall, there's a good chance my son's going to end up in a carnival.
As you can see, we're about a half hour away from the start, and the room is already packed. You can tell just from the energy of the people. I'm sure you can hear them behind me. It's going to be an amazing night. A lot of great comedians. We got Mr. Russo, as you already talked to. We got a grocery list full of others. It's going to be hilarious. Look at the chandeliers. It's going to be a beautiful night. I can't think of anywhere else I'd rather be on my Friday night other than right here at the Doubletree Hotel in Milford. It's probably in my local police department.
It's a very good organization I work for that supports a lot of police organizations. Usually great crowds, great shows, and anything to help civil servants in any way, firemen, police, anything.
Is there anything particular you like about this gig?
Yeah, there's always a good amount of people. Yeah. There's always a good mix of people. Usually everyone's here to laugh. They know it's a comedy show. They know they're here to support something. It's a big venue, good stage, good lighting, good microphone, so it's always good.
So do you tell like specific jokes to specific crowds? Like what do you angle towards when you do stuff like this?
I look at people coming in. If it's an older crowd, I'll keep it kind of clean. Yeah. Younger crowd, I'll push the edge, and I usually don't have a full game plan of what I'm going to do. I do a couple minutes and I see what they like, and I'll go from there.
Awesome. Yeah. So tell me a little about your backstory. What made Greg Murphy Greg Murphy?
I started doing comedy about 10 years ago. Yeah. Wrote a lot in college. Decided one night to go on an open mic.
Awesome.
And haven't stopped since.
That's awesome.
Well, I've been a police officer here in Milford now for just over 5 years. Been a lifelong Milford resident. Currently raising my family here in the town of Milford. Very devoted to this community. Work for a great police department, great police chief. Very fortunate to work for a great department and have endless resources available, and definitely a proud member. I'm currently serving as the Local 218 Vice President for my first year. This event here is also a great event that we host every year. Brings out a good portion of our community and gets some laughs together and support a good cause of our union, in which in turn we, of course, support many local charities with raising a lot of these funds, and that's it.
As part of our Studio B grand opening and open house party this weekend, we've compiled some of the best moments from across all of our Milford TV original productions and organized them into top 10 lists, which will air throughout the grand opening event here inside our studios. We thought we'd give you a little sneak peek at one of those top 10 lists, so here is just a sample of our top 10 moments in Milford TV sports.
Starting off our top 10 list is a milestone moment from the 2017-18 winter sports season. Kate Irwin burst onto the girls' basketball scene from day one of her freshman year, establishing herself as a fixture among the league's top scorers. On January 25, 2018, Kate would see to it that her name would forever be etched in Milford's record books.
59-42, 2.5 minutes to play as Kate again slows the pace, leisurely dribbles around midcourt. Now will release the three and knocks it home. Kate with three. And the milestone now just a single point away. Everyone in the Milford gym absolutely on the edge of their seats. Kate with a couple of dribbles. And there it is. Kate Irwin becomes the second Milford female athlete to achieve the milestone. Kate Irwin, 1,000 points for her high school career. 32 points on the night, a career high for Kate, and an incredible achievement for a truly gifted Milford High School student athlete.
Exactly 1 year to the day before Kate achieved her milestone, the Milford Gym played host to another tremendous individual athletic accomplishment. After enduring an unimaginable tragedy just months prior, Ryan Gray returned to the wrestling mat for his senior season. On January 25, 2017, Ryan entered into a match against Stoughton looking to achieve the rare feat of securing 100 career victories. In the fall of 2017, the Milford football team was looking to settle into a new identity under their first-year head coach Anthony Vizakis. The Hawks entered into Week 6 of the season, a game under 500, hoping they could come through with a statement win against one of their fiercest rivals in the division in the Foxborough Warriors.
14-point deficit for the Scarlet Hawks as we begin fourth quarter play. Ryan Pearl will look to throw, looking for Everett in the end zone, and the pass is complete for a touchdown, Scarlet Hawks. And right back to Ryan Pearl after the first down carry. Now Will Pointer breaking free away from the defense towards the goal line, and he is in. Touchdown, Scarlet Hawks. Pearl tosses it back. It looks like O'Toole with the carry. He breaks free into the open field. Has one man left to beat. Accelerates past. The ball comes loose. Officiating crew talks it over, and the arms raised, and it is a touchdown for Ryan O'Toole. And they can take their time here. They don't want to leave Milford with any time to come back out on offense. Of course, they do want to score here. We'll see the screen pass. It is tipped. Does Milford have it? They do. An interception for the Scarlet Hawks. The ball was tipped and eventually into the hands of the Scarlet Hawks. And so the defense comes through with a miraculous play as Milford will take over with 1 minute and 11 seconds to go.
In the spring of 2015, Milford softball fans would have the chance to witness the birth of a new rivalry. With Milford closing in on another Davenport Division title, the team would face a true playoff test as the undefeated Silver Lake Lady Lakers came to town. The game would be dominated by starting pitchers Allie Atherton and Maddie Baroni for much of the afternoon. After trailing by a run and down to their last out, Maggie Farrell and Jill Powers would put the wheels in motion for a truly magical comeback.
More heroics. After the first two had been retired in the seventh, it was Farrell who came through with a double. Came around to score on the hit by Powers. She sends a high fly ball out to left field, and that is gone! A two-run home run for Maggie Farrell. She does it again and ties the game at 3. Now here's Jill Powers, who has come through with 2 hits in her last 2 at-bats, trying to send it deep enough to the outfield to bring home this game-winning run. She sends a line drive past the glove of the second baseman, Riordan. Coming around to score the winning run is Taylor LeBrun. And Milford walks off with the 4-3 victory in 11 innings.
Girls volleyball in Milford was the standard bearer of excellence for decades. With the program falling on hard times, the architect of Scarlet Hawks volleyball, Hall of Famer Linda Zakili, would return to the sidelines for the fall of 2017, and she would instantly turn a floundering program into a playoff contender.
MIAA playoff tournament has arrived, and your Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks volleyball team gets set to open up a first-round matchup at home here tonight against the visiting Tantascwa Lady Warriors. Milford now with match point, 24-16. And the Milford fans start to get loud again, as does the bench. The serve away by Kyra Alves, answered by Bouchard. Returned back over. Zagami trying to keep it in, and it's in just inside the far sideline. And Zagami gets the kill that seals the set and the win for the Lady Scarlet Hawks. It is match point now for the Lady Hawks. The Milford fans get loud. Jane Schuler ready. The serve away, met by Noroyan. They'll set it up for the right side, and that ball is sent long, and that is your game. Milford comes into Neshoba Regional High School here in Bolton, and again they sweep their way to victory for the second straight time in the postseason. A sweep over Tantascwa in the first round, and now a 3-set sweep over the Neshoba Lady Chieftains, and Milford advances to the Division II Central semifinals.
Last Friday night brought another marquee matchup into the Milford Gym for boys basketball. As you heard from the players themselves here on The Informer last week, the team was highly motivated heading into a showdown with the Foxborough Warriors. Could the boys come through with another upset over a Davenport Division leader? Let's check out the highlights.
It was labeled a revenge game by Milford senior captain Caden Kelly. After giving away their first matchup against Foxborough with a fourth-quarter collapse earlier in the year, the Hawks were hoping for a more complete effort as the two teams came together for their second regular season meeting. Despite the team's expectations going into the game, it would be a struggle for Milford to keep pace with Foxborough early on. About 2 minutes in, the Warriors would set up an outside look for their senior captain Joe Morrison, and the team's scoring leader would nail the shot to give Foxborough an early 5-0 lead. On the next Milford possession, Foxborough would force the turnover under the basket, and then it would be Foxborough's number 2 scorer, Brandon Board, showing off his speed and finish at the rim to put Foxborough on a 7-0 run to start the night. After failing to generate any offense over the first 3 minutes, Caden Kelly would knock one in to finally get the Hawks offense going. Then with just under 3.5 minutes left in the first, Zach Tomorrow would be left all alone on the perimeter, and he would take advantage, draining the 3 to make it a 2-point game. Now watch this play from Brendan Saylor. He takes the ball up the floor and just powers his way into the paint before finishing with a pretty up and under move at the rim that would tie the game at 9-all. After a tough start, Milford would close out the first quarter strong, taking a 13-11 lead. But as the game shifted into the second quarter, Foxborough's Joe Morrison was ready to shift momentum right back onto his team's side.
Milford's done a very good job of making Foxborough uncomfortable. Morrison will get a shot here from the corner and count it for 3. And now the release from 3 for Morrison. And now a chance to release from 3-point range. It's the favorite spot on the floor, it seems, for Morrison, although I doubt he'd have much different results anywhere else. He has been otherworldly shooting in this first half. And now receives the pass as Milford turns it over. He'll take it all the way to the basket.
Morrison would be responsible for 20 of the 33 points scored by Foxborough in the first half. Milford would try to keep pace on their side of the floor, but it would be the Warriors who would take a 5-point lead into the half. Milford knew they needed to come out with a renewed effort on defense in the third quarter, and that was exactly what the Hawks were able to do. Active hands and constant pressure would result in a series of Foxborough turnovers through the early minutes of the third quarter. Eventually, the good defense would result in better offense for the Hawks. Here, Brendan Saylor finds Fraioli all alone under the basket, and Andrew would pitch in his third bucket of the quarter to even the score at 36. With the score still tied, Caden Kelly would clean up after the missed shot by Joey Everett to give Milford the lead. The Hawks would outscore Foxborough 15-6 in the third quarter, but it was in the fourth that the Hawks would really start to gain some separation on the scoreboard.
So Foxborough still sitting on just 6 points so far in the second half. High feed into Fraioli, he pulls it down and puts it in for 2. Here's Fraioli, lightning quick, receiving the pass, gets the shot and the foul. The fans are pumped, the players are pumped as Milford takes a 10-point lead. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Fraioli finds Kelly. Kelly turns around and puts it in for 2.
Milford's defense would hold Foxborough to just 6 points through the first 12.5 minutes of the second half, and that would allow the offense to turn a 5-point halftime deficit into a 14-point lead. Foxborough would have one last gasp in them, however. After being held to just 2 points through much of the half, Joe Morrison would start to chip into the Milford lead, eventually cutting it to as low as 5, but that would be as close as the Warriors would get. For the second game in a row, Milford topples a first-place team. The Hawks defeat the Foxborough Warriors by a final score of 59-51.
The homestand carried over into Tuesday for boys basketball. They hope to climb within a game of securing a playoff spot as they welcomed in the North Attleboro Rocketeers. Let's go right back to the highlights.
Milford and North Attleboro entered into their matchup on Tuesday in the exact same situation. Both teams shared identical 8-8 records with 4 games to go, needing no less than 2 wins to earn a spot in the playoffs. For Milford, they hope to avoid getting out to the same sluggish offensive start that plagued them in each of their previous 2 games. As it turned out, the Hawks would indeed see an early offensive surge. With the shot clock winding down on Milford's opening possession, Brendan White would release from 3-point range, and the bank shot would be good to get the Hawks on the scoreboard. After that, it was Brendan Saylor who would take advantage of a little space from outside to make it 2 quick threes for Milford. The Hawks would open the game on a 7-0 run before free throws from the Rocketeers' scoring leader Josh Montague would get the visitors going, but as the quarter went on, North would struggle to keep up with the red-hot Milford offense.
Kelly now gets it to Tomorrow. His first 3-point attempt of the night is good, and Milford has been hot from long range so far. Fighting for that inbounds pass. Seavey was there, but Milford was able to hang on, and eventually the runner to the basket for Brendan White. puts him up to 5 points and puts Milford into a 10-point advantage. Cosquet surveying his options. Now it's Everett with a quick swing outside to Tomorrow. No good. Here's Frioli with the rebound and the putback.
By the end of the first quarter, Milford would be in full command, up 18-4. Into the second quarter, the North Attleboro offense would start to have a little more luck. Here they're able to break the Milford press, and with numbers up the floor, Nate Gonsalves sets up Jake Peterson on this nifty alley-oop play to give the Rocketeers their first points of the period. Then after another Peterson bucket, it's Josh Montague who picks off the Sailor pass and converts the turnover into points. Later on in the quarter, it's back to Peterson who releases the jumper over Zach Tomorrow. Montague and Peterson would team up to outscore the entire Milford offense 14-13 in the second quarter. Shortly before the half, we'd see a nice moment for one of the Scarlet Hawks captains. Shane Cosquet, who had been sidelined since December 30th with a wrist injury, made his return to the lineup and would immediately remind the fans of his skill set, pulling off the midcourt steal and taking it back for the score. Cosquet would receive a huge ovation from the crowd as well as plenty of love from his teammates. With Milford still enjoying a double-digit lead, the offense was ready to do more damage as the second half began. Here, North Attleboro would completely lose track of Milford big man Andrew Frioli, and Brendan Saylor would make them pay with a pass right on the money, and Frioli would finish with a gentle kiss off the glass. Later in the quarter, it's Zach Tomorrow who would sneak away from the defense, and the result would be Zach's third three-pointer of the night, with this one pushing the Milford lead to 22 points. Meanwhile, the Hawks defense would be relentless over the course of the third quarter, forcing turnovers and denying the Rocketeers any decent looks. Josh Montague would put in a three in the closing minutes of the quarter. It would be the only outside shot North would make in the game, and one of just 2 made shots for the Rocketeers from the floor in the period. Milford would own an even 20-point lead heading into the fourth quarter, and the Hawks would hold on to that lead over the final 8 minutes. The two teams entered the night on equal footing, but the Hawks would dominate on the floor from start to finish. Milford defeats North Attleboro by a final score of 58-36 and now stand just 1 win away from a postseason berth.
So make it 3 consecutive victories for the Milford boys. They now stand just 1 win away from guaranteeing themselves a 3rd straight trip to the MIAA tournament. The boys are on the road against Sharon and then return to the Milford gym next week to close out the regular season with their 2-day Scarlet Hawk Classic tournament. Meanwhile, the Milford girls basketball team is at home tonight against their Sharon counterparts. The girls have been dealing with the injury bug over the last 2 weeks, which has led to a 1-4 stretch over their last 5 games. The team, of course, has already secured a playoff spot, but will look to finish out the season on a positive note tonight in their senior night game. And now, as promised, we want to share all of the details with you on what is sure to be a fun-filled celebration here at our Milford TV studios this weekend. Here is a look at what's coming up at this Saturday's Studio B grand opening and open house party. We hope everyone will join us for the festivities on Saturday. If you can't make it to the studios, we will be broadcasting live all day long on both of our Milford TV and Milford TV educational channels, And we will also be streaming live on milfordtv.net and on Livestream. We hope you will join us again next week. Until then, from all of us here at Milford TV, this is Tim Coet saying have a great week. So long, everybody.